I mean, we kind of just talked about one in terms of this quarterback situation, right? The QB battle.
Is Tuitt going to show up?
Oh, it's
that has to be the top storyline.
See, I was doing my Steelers TV yesterday, and I low-key, we were talking about this, and I said that, and I felt kind of like uncomfortable talking about it on the network.
Why?
I don't know, because it's kind of like, man, how they been talking about him, man? Nobody talks about Tuitt on their thing. You know what I mean? No, everybody's like hush hush. So literally, we're doing the show, bro. Everybody's always hush hush about Tuitt. You think about and this is, I love Tuitt. It's my brother. Don't you? That's no smoke, bro. Listen, when Kevin Colbert has been asked about Tuitt this offseason, how has he always responded, bro? It's very, mum's the word. We're going to keep it very close to the chest. Oh, yeah, man, everything's good. Nope, yep, optimist, looking up, da-da-da-da. But no real intangible thing. So, I'm like, man, they're asking, hey, what's something that you're looking into seeing this period? What's something that's on your mind? And I'm low-key like, I don't care about these quarterbacks like that. I don't care about this offensive line like that. The thing that I care about is Tuitt and DeMarvin Leal. Is he present? And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, am I supposed to be putting that out there? But since we on our show right here, it's different. I'm like, yeah, man, that's definitely the one for me.
I think it's on everyone else's minds too. What are we really going to discover? I mean, we talk about the QB reps and the quarterback competition, but I feel like we'll find out way more when training camp comes around and preseason. We can see some nice stuff here. These guys are making nice throws. Yeah. But at the end of the day, is Tuitt just going to be here? Do we know if he's going to be on the roster? That's what I want to know. Because this is mandatory, right?
The last week of it is mandatory. So he's going to have 9 practices right now that are what we call voluntary, non-voluntary.
Pretty much mandatory, though.
You heard me say non-voluntary is voluntarily, non-voluntarily. Okay.
Okay.
You can volunteer. We saying, hey, we're working, but unless you are one of 3 guys, you're gonna be there. And I don't even know the 3 guys I think of right now, because it used to be Ben. You could say Ben, AB, Elbo, or Troy. Like they would always show up, but they would not have to be. Like we say, certain players that we know they don't have to be here, and it's gonna be all right. Right now, I was
TJ,
Cam, TJ,
Najee. But
I would throw Najee in there because of the position and the workload, but he's definitely
going to be there.
He's definitely going to be there. Yeah, because I'm like, even Minka, I'm like, yeah, Minka probably doesn't need to be there. Right. He wouldn't need to, but he's going to show up. Yeah, Diontae. I want Diontae there. Like,
oh, that's another storyline though. Is Diontae showing up?
I left that one out too. I didn't want to go there. I left that one out.
The first 2 weeks, right? If you're saying they're voluntary,
because the mandatory part is mandatory minicamp, the 3 days that first week of June.
Okay.
So I'm like, yo, Tuitt definitely has to be there for that. Diontae definitely has to be there.
What does that say for those 2 guys if they're not at the first? You said it's 9 of them?
For Diontae, it's saying that I want the money. And that's why when we talked about him not showing up when OTAs first started, in terms of like the offseason activities, and you were like, oh, that's not really a statement. It's not really saying that. And me and TG both said what? By him not being there, that's him saying, I'm not happy. That's him taking an action. That's the first step in the whole contract wars. You start not showing up to voluntary things and you go by the letter of the law. It's like, hey, man, it's voluntary, so I'm not showing up. If you want to pay me more, then I'll show up to voluntary stuff. That's the first step. It's a soft protest. That's how we look at it. Not soft in the sense of like, oh man, you weak, but soft in the sense of like, it's not going to draw a crazy amount of attention, but you know what it is. We can identify it. We've seen this before. This is status quo for guys going through contract negotiations in a sense. You don't show up to the off-season activities and stuff like that. So now, when you're talking about the practice part, if he's not there, I think it doesn't change anything in the sense of how well he's going to play this year. I don't think that has any indictment on that. I think that Diontae's still going to be an exceptional player, and I think he's still going to continue to be ascending in this league. But the message that it gives to the organization is, I am really upset. I really want this amount of money, and if you guys aren't going to pay me, I don't know how much I'm going to do the extra, because OTAs, even though it's team, is still considered extra because it's voluntary. You could be on a vacation. You could be chilling with your family if you wanted to. This is your off-season time. So with that being the case, it's like for Diontae, if he does not show up, that's the message that he's sending to them. That's what he's telling them. And the same would be with Tuitt. I think that it looks different for Tuitt than Diontae, because with Diontae right now, it would totally and 100% be contract related. Mm-hmm. If it's Tuitt, you're going back to the same conversations and thoughts we've been having all offseason and all last year. Is he invested? Does he want to play? Is this knee bigger than what anybody told us? Like, what's going on here? I just think that it would cause a lot more concern with Tuitt not being there for any of these voluntaries. Whereas Diontae, I don't think is going to be viewed the same. I think with Diontae, it's strictly contract related. And as soon as he's good and he got his money, he's going to be good to go. I think with Tuitt, it's definitely going to be a lot more eyes on that situation, man.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Tuitt, there's just...
Like, how could you not show up, bro?
So much vagueness then at that point with Diontae, you're right. It's all about contract. But I think the thing that I'm still good with Diontae is he hasn't made the statement like Deebo Samuels or any of these other receivers like A.J. Brown and whatnot saying, I'm not playing until I get this contract.
Right. Now,
he can still be unhappy, which understood. Yeah, you want your money.
You heard the difference, right? Deebo, hard stance. Hard protest. Diontae, soft protest. Both are still effective, but one is definitely a lot more blunt, in your face, wow factor, Deebo. Whereas with Diontae, it's definitely more, my image is still intact. It's not really taking a hit, but my message is getting out there. Like, they both can work. I just think with Deebo, though, think about how much more movement and moving pieces have been around Deebo since he's made that statement in terms of the trade speculation. The Niners having to really come out and say, no, we really want to get him done. Like, we're not letting him leave and stuff like that. You got way more action from that style. Whereas with the way Diontae's approaching it, we know he wants more. We know that he's not the most happy guy right now, but because he's taking this approach, the Steelers and other teams haven't really had to say anything or do anything in response to his actions. So I look at it kind of as a pro and a con.
Yeah, when we talked about Diontae, I don't really think he's got that much leverage in the situation. I think it'll be more interesting if he plays really well this year and then we end up tagging him.
Yeah. Because
then I think... I don't know how much leverage he'll have at that point either, because who knows how Pickens and Austin play, because we'll have Claypool back for another year on his contract, and then we could just
those are the two
maybe
guys,
replace Diontae with those two guys if he wants to sit out.
Though. Those are the two. Actually, I won't even throw Austin. I'll just say Claypool and Pickens. If Claypool say Claypool continues on what he's doing from last year, but continues to improve, and then Pickens gives you a 700. You're not looking at Diontae saying, I want to pay you 15, 18.
We'll draft 20. Another guy in the second round.
Like, bro, we got this. Like, we're feeling good. Or you even go free agency and you can still get somebody for a cheaper per year than paying Diontae anywhere between 15 to 20 mil.
Yeah.
That's
There's always going to be an Emmanuel Sanders dude out there that can give you 600-700.
And what they said, receivers are like the new running backs right now, man. You're finding them wherever, like. Bro. You're finding these dudes. Yeah, it's every single year. It's like, oh, all right, well, I'll pay that guy. We'll just get another guy.
Yeah, have a good quarterback.
Yeah.
And receivers can be made, essentially, right? You could have, with Mahomes, I know they're going to miss Tyreek Hill, but
they're not going to fill it to that. Like, not on that. Like, it's not going to be unbearable.
Yeah, what situation would you rather have for offense?
Yeah.
Chiefs or Dolphins?
Exactly.
Dolphins got all the pieces. They got all the weapons now.
And the big question mark where? Most important position. Yes.
Chiefs. They drafted Sky Moore, brought in Juju, Valdez Scantling.
Still got Hardman out there. Yeah, man.
I think they'll be fine because they have Mahomes. I think they will be.
Yeah. Oh, and
if I had to bet money.
Oh, and they still got Kelsey. Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
And they got the coaches to go with them as well.
But yeah, I think right now, state of the league, if we're talking about team building, I like how the Steelers are doing it. We got a nice offense, young offense. Yeah. But if you look at how we have our salary cap allocated, I think we spent the least on our offense this upcoming year. most on the defense.
Yeah.
And that's not ripping on the offense, like, oh, we need to pay more. It's just we have these dudes at the right point in their contracts where they're all young, but they're all ascending. Like, I still have confidence in our offense.
And we're still holding true to our method of building through the draft. Now, obviously, we revamped the offensive line more so through free agency. And we're not saying that we don't bring in pieces through free agency, but when you talk about the core of our team, it's drafts. It's draft picks. It's not kind of like when we talk about the difference of like the Ravens, or not the Ravens, but the Rams, where it's like, okay, these guys were traded for, or free agent signed and stuff like that. Not a lot of homegrown. With us, we look at our rosters like, bro, we got a lot of dudes that we've had for a while now, man.
How the hell did they get Allen Robinson?
Yeah.
Also got Bobby Wagner.
Yeah. It's nuts, right?
And they're talking about bringing back Beckham somehow.
It's nuts, bro.
How are they doing this?
It's nuts. I don't know.
They just signed Stafford to like a $40 million a year contract.
You know why?
You have Aaron Donald. You have Jalen Ramsey. How are you doing?
Listen. They called up Goodell. They was like, hey, you see that salary cap switch? Turn it off on our team. And that's all they do. Just turn it off and they go.
I wonder when they're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because Cooper Kupp, when's his big contract? Does he have one yet? I don't think he has his big contract yet.
No, he has to have gotten paid by now.
How much you think? Something. I don't think it's to the level of
he's not Diontae money. He's
being offensive player of the year, though.
He's probably in the 20s, though, right?
Because when did he get his contract? Like, he had a good couple seasons with
That's
Goff,
what I'm saying, yeah.
but not to last year's extent.
I thought Woods got paid first, and then Cooper got paid.
What's your guess?
I said he's getting 20 a year.
I'm gonna guess like 10. Okay, it's 3 for 47. So what is that? 15.
All right, so okay.
So that's right in between.
Yeah.
When did he sign that? He signed that in 2020, it looks like.
So yeah, he's coming
if he's getting 15.
Yeah, he.
I mean, that's probably part of the reason why they can afford all these guys.
Yes. How the heck is Cooper Kupp getting 15, bro? That is oof. So yeah, he's up then what in a year? How many he has left? One more?
Saying he's still under contract 2023.
So no. So yeah, this would be the final year of it then.
No. Well, this counts as 2022. This upcoming
so he has this and another.
That's what it looks like.
Okay. I thought you were saying it ends in 2023, as in like.
Well, I don't know.
This season is over in 2023.
3 years. Maybe there's a player option or something. Because I'm seeing potential out.
Okay.
Maybe there's a player or team option. It's saying free agent 2024 though, unrestricted free agent.
Okay, so that would be 2 seasons then. Yeah.
Maybe he needs to start playing some hardball.
Sheesh.
At least after next year.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
This year would have been a good time to do it. Coming off of 2,000 receiving yards essentially.
With the Von Miller. Listen, man. Listen, Super Bowl MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. I need all that money. I need all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they couldn't keep him off. They lost Von Miller.
Yeah.
To the Bills.
Absolutely, man.
Wait, I don't know if we ever talked about that signing in detail. How did you feel about that?
I mean, I'm cool with it.
It's a lot of money, but I think it gets cut off at a certain point, right?
Yeah, it's only 50.
After 2 or 3 years.
Like 3 for 50. The whole 6 for like 100 or whatever, that was more so for the cap part of it, but it's 3 for 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else with Steelers OTAs, storylines and whatnot? I mean, we're on the same page with Tuitt and Diontae. I just want to know if they're going to show up.
So if we had to, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
If you got to pick who's showing up, man. One, both, or neither.
Wow.
Let us know in the chat too, man. I wanted to put a poll up. I started making a poll, bro.
I think Tuitt's going to be back. So
is Tuitt showing up?
You got to show up, right? For not being around for this extended period of time. I feel like you got to show up. Should we make
this a poll?
Yeah.
Ask the people?
Yeah, I don't know how you phrase it.
Who shows up to OTAs?
Oh, yeah.
First?
Who shows up? And then you have Diontae, Tuitt, or neither.
OTAs.
Wow.
Diontae.
These are the voluntary ones we're talking about.
I'm going to say Diontae. I'm going to say Tuitt. I'm going to say both. And then I'll say neither. So you got all the options.
This is not the mandatory ones.
Correct.
Right?
This is just the
initial ones.
OTA practices start next Tuesday. Okay. Who shows up to OTA? I
think it's Tuitt.
Diontae, Tuitt, both?
I think it's Tuitt.
Neither.
I don't think Diontae shows up, though.
So you're saying no Diontae?
Yeah. Thinking no Diontae. But he shows up for the mandatory. I think he plays the offseason out.
Okay.
Training camp, preseason. I think all that stuff happens.
Yeah.
Because it's in his best interest to do that. Not being at these volunteer OTAs. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Does it matter that much to him?
Who?
Diontae. The only benefit for him is probably just building a rapport with one of the quarterbacks because that's going to help his individual season.
So the way it works like this, if Diontae is showing up, the benefits are this. It builds a rapport with the quarterbacks.
Quiets noise down maybe too a little bit.
Well, yeah, so I'm going to give you a list. I'll give you a list. So it builds up the rapport. It's going to quiet the noise in the sense of, okay, how disgruntled is he really? That was AB's approach. AB would show up to every OTA, even when he was trying to get the money, even when he was pissed off about the contract, he still show up. It just makes it better. It's like a sign of good faith.
Yeah, you never heard about AB being disgruntled about a contract at all.
Yeah, and we were here for a couple of them. It's just a sign of good faith. Like, just show up. Mike Hilton, he was another one. He would show up. He didn't get the deal that he wanted, but it also kept it very quiet for him. But he was pissed at times with the money that he was getting here for what he was doing on the field. But he showed up. So when you show up, it does give you just that good faith that keeps everything chill. It also protects you. If you get hurt at OTA practice, it's on the team. Team got to cover you. Team got to make sure that money right. Team has to handle everything. If you get hurt and you're not there, that's on you. They don't have to pay you. If they want, they could even try to recruit because you got hurt doing something that was not a part of the team's activities. Even if you slipped going into the facility and tore your ACL, as long as you were doing something on the team's dime, on their watch, you are good. When you are not there, every day that Diontae and Tuitt don't show up to something like that, whatever could happen. Now, Lord willing, nothing does happen when they get hurt, but it does happen. You pull a hammy. I've seen dudes pull hammies, man, working on their own. And then when they show up and it's like, oh, well, you're hurt. All right, well, you got to go. Or you're hurt. All right, we're going to find you. Oh, you're hurt. This, because you weren't there. So that is the other thing that Diontae and Tuitt, if they're not showing up, put themselves kind of in just a little bit more danger. You know what I mean? It's just added risk. Not saying that, you know, it makes it higher probability or a lower probability of them getting hurt. You can get hurt doing whatever, but it's just something else that you have to account for now. So that's the other part of it. Yeah.
That being the case, I might switch my answer. I think they're both there. I think they're both there then.
But like, just think about it. Like, players have not shown up before the OTAs, and it's not a common thing, but it happens. You know what I mean? And it doesn't always have to be a negative. But like I said, man, when it doesn't work out or a guy gets hurt, you're in a bind, man. You're stuck.
How you leaning?
Low-key leaning neither, bro.
Whoa.
Whoa. Neither. I don't
Did they show up to the mandatory?
I don't think Diontae shows up any of these OTAs because that is status quo for trying to get that money. And I don't think he is going to be able to force their hand by not, you know, taking a little bit more of a harder stance. Because as we already said, he really doesn't have leverage here. The Steelers have him under contract. The Steelers can fine him when it gets to the season if he were to try to sit out. The Steelers also can tag him after this season. They just have way more, you know, luxury right there.
He doesn't have AB type of impact on the offense.
Absolutely. And he doesn't already have AB type of money in the bank where he can afford to sit out. Like, that's the other part of it. So that's why I do think for him, this is the next progression in the sense of, how do you get that message out there, but at the same time, not make you the villain, not make you the bad guy? You just don't show up to the voluntary stuff because, oh, people, oh man, how you not there? It's voluntary. Just hit them with, it's voluntary. It's voluntary. That's what you hit them with. It's voluntary. And that's why we want you to check attendance because it's voluntary. You shouldn't be able to check. That was like our whole argument with the PA doing the CBA back in 2011. You know, to get that type of stuff in there. It's like, yo, if it's voluntary, you don't need an attendance. I don't want to hear if I'm there or not or why this and this is voluntary.
What happens? Is it just reporters being there and they
word of mouth? No, so
tweet it out and stuff?
Yeah. So in a sense, what a reporter would do, they're smart. They catch a player coming off the field. Hey man, how was such and such day of practice?
Oh, so they don't actually see the practices?
No. Yeah, reporters, they don't get the reporters only there for the first like 15 minutes of practice and the last 15 minutes. So they see stretch and warm up and they can see like the final 7 to 10 plays of team. But yeah, they're not watching the whole thing like us. Like, my situation a little different. So that's why typically I get to see a lot more of that stuff. And, you know, when I'm doing the radio show with the team, we get that type of access, but the rest of the media is like, nah, y'all gotta do over there, baby. You know?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, I'm not gonna say that. But the way it comes out is the reporter will just simply ask one of the players coming off the field. And if a player confirms it, then they could talk about it. So if a player is like, yo, if he say, yo, man, I seen even if we could be watching, say we're reporters and we're watching Kenny Pickett throw 3 picks right now, we can't say that Kenny threw 3 picks. We could be like, yeah, man, the quarterback's struggling today, man, with some turnovers. We cannot say, yo, he threw 3 picks. Now, say you're Najee, and I say, hey, Najee, man, was that Kenny throwing those 3 picks? And you're like, yeah, man, he had a rough one. Now I can say, yeah, man, Kenny Pickett threw 3 picks today, man, per Najee or per my source. Yeah, it's nice, bro. Mm-hmm. That's how it works, bro. Yeah.
Per source.
Yeah, per source. Yeah, but it has to come like from a player, and you have to be able to go back and say like, yo, this was the player that told me.
How'd you respond to that stuff?
To me, I didn't really have an issue with it because I think when I was here in Pittsburgh, all of our headline people were there. Like L. Bell, I'm trying to think. Yeah, because the year when L. Bell set out, that was my first year in AZ. The whole time I was there, that was when L. Bell was trying to get the money, and we knew like, yo, he's balling out, but you better take care of him. When AB wanted to get the money, he showed up. And that was his whole thing. He was like, yo, I ain't happy at all. And he would talk so much. Oh my God. He would let them know every day. But we knew it was like, yo, he's here. So ain't nothing y'all can say. Just pay that man. And that's why we was all happy when he got his money. Even, I'm trying to think. When Al wanted to get his money, he still showed up. Everybody showed up when they wanted to get paid, bro. Like, so we never really had to deal with, hey man, was such there today? Like, we didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, and you probably weren't asking, did Ben throw picks?
Nah, not at all.
Was Bell fumbling? None of that stuff mattered. There were so many proven guys.
Right, yeah.
There wasn't like the hot button or the hot topic guy there during that time period, really.
We were just like,
right?
We felt like really complete. We thought we had stars, role players. We had everything we needed. So it really wasn't a ton of that. It was, can y'all get home field advantage? Can y'all get the 1 seed? Is this going to get y'all the 1 seed? So when OTAs would start before the practices, like when we talk about the workouts and stuff, we would have 100% pretty much participation then, because our mindset was it takes all of us on day 1 to go ahead and get that 1 seed to hopefully get that Lombardi. That's why, like, when you hear us talk about these guys not showing up to some of the stuff, it's like, I get it. And to most people, it probably doesn't matter. But to us, it does, because we felt that was one of the biggest reasons why we were able to be as close as we were and overcome everything that we were having to overcome during that time period. But like I said, you can still win either way. But from the guys that I talked to, even guys that do have rings, they're like, nah, man, we would all be here for this. We were all committed to that. We were all doing it this type of way because that's just how you do it, you know?
The rumors and stuff probably really started to heat up with Martavis Juju, maybe. Was that it? And Bell then?
No, the one time when the rumors started to heat up was when we were thinking that Tay could get the suspension.
Okay.
Because we were starting to get the rumblings about it before training camp. So we knew, okay, something could be up. Did he fail? Was it legitimate? Like, because it was like, you know how it is, man. When you got that one guy, you're like, God, dog, all right, we know something's going on, Tay. And Tay ain't really talking to nobody except 7, and he's really not talking to 7. We all just kind of like, okay, bro. Are we good? Are we not good? Oh, bro, chill. I got this, man. We good. I'm like, all right. And yeah, 3 weeks later, when we seen 7 with that look in his face, I said, oh, we haven't seen that look in a while. Yes, 7's mad with somebody. Oh, he stopped you. Oh, you're lying. Yeah, it was one of those situations, bro.
Damn.
Yeah. But then, because even with the whole tweet thing, when, like, it was funny in the moment, but when we got there, it was only awkward like the first 20, 30 minutes. And that's because, like, us as athletes, like, we make it awkward. So we get in the locker room, we like, hey, yo, Juju, or hey, yo, Sammy, what is it? It's the who you right? So just for the sake of it. But at the end of the day, like, we knew, okay, we all gonna be here. It's all good. It's all love. But yeah, outside of that, like, we don't really, like, we weren't dealing with that type of stuff. You know,
did it actually get bad? Because Martavis doubled down on it with like an Instagram post at some point in the season.
To me, it never got bad. Like, you know, we was dealing with doing those type of things, bro.
that was mild stuff.
I was about to say, yeah. That's not even. That's not even a blip on the radar compared to what we were dealing with. We had, major issues.
A Martavis Instagram post about not getting the ball more.
Yeah, I think we had a lot more that was on our plate. That's all, man. Yeah, a lot more that was on our plate, bro.
So what's the poll saying?
All right, so the poll says...
That's pretty even, huh?
So you said, who shows up to OTAs between Diontae Johnson and Stephon Tuitt? So 18% says that Diontae will show up. 24% say that Tuitt will show up. 28% say that both will show up. And then right now, at 29%, they say neither are showing up. So not a lot of optimism. Oh,
yeah.
It's very even across, but man.
So what's 100 minus 28? 72% are saying someone's not showing up, essentially.
Yeah. Because now it finalized at 30% for neither. So neither ended up being 30%. Both was 28%. So 70% at least think that
someone's not showing up. Just one person.
Yeah,
at least one person.
Yeah.
Wow.
And nobody's believing it. Well, the least amount believe in Diontae, though.
Yeah.
Dang. It's the contract, bro. But then I
liked your explanation for showing up to OTAs. It makes me think, like, why not show up then? You're going to be working out anyway, at least.
That was our whole
Now, if you get injured, it's on their dime. You could at least help with the team building, build a rapport with the quarterback, because that's going to help your individual season and quiet the noise. So it seems like there's a lot of positives to show.
For me, I looked at it both of those ways. Especially once I had the money and I was already established. Like when I was in Buffalo my last season there, man, I remember looking at, I had one or two teammates, and one guy had already been on the team and he wouldn't show up for OTAs. But he was like, yo, he's already been here. The other guy we had just signed and he wouldn't show up either. But he was a veteran. So I'm like, yo, I don't really want to be here. But I'm like, yo, if I'm be working out anyways, I'm only working out at the crib. I stay 15 minutes from the facility. Why am I going to have to, why go pay to go train here or risk the injury there to do the exact same thing I'm going to be doing here? And they're going to pay me for showing up. Now, granted, you don't get paid substantial money during OTAs, but I'm like, I still would much rather get paid to work out than me go pay somebody to work out if, know, we're talking about it like that. So that was definitely, my approach as well. Like, you know what, man, let me just show up. It's just simple. They going to feed me the free food, free meals, drinks, everything I need. I'm going to see my boys anyways. I don't like the coaches. All right, cool. Yeah, I can avoid this coach over here. I'll be all right. Like, that was just kind of like my thought process, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you come to Pittsburgh, it's like, bro, everybody's showing up. It's not even a debate. Yeah.
Hopefully Diontae's there. Tuitt too. Tuitt is more of a priority to me, for sure.
I would agree with that.
Because you're right. If it's Diontae, as long as Diontae shows up to the mandatory stuff, fine. We know he's going to play. He's disgruntled about the contract. That's life. That's what happens in the NFL. At least he didn't do the whole thing with Debo and all the other young receivers in the NFL where they're like, I'm not even playing if I don't get a good contract here.